Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Spill the Tea Lou, where we are going to be talking about Manchester United winning against Liverpool. As you can see, I have now donned my jersey. I did not wear this during the match. I was wearing my hoodie during the match, and then that's actually what took me a few minutes to go live, because as soon as the match was over, as soon as the points were in the bag, I decided it was safe. It was safe to go and put my jersey on. Not a minute before, because I was afraid if I put the jersey on literally even a minute before, I might have done the juju, because my goodness me, we did our best to throw that match in the bin. We did our absolute best. A flying start, absolutely unbelievable start. Starts the second half then from hell. And I was like, right, I'm not putting the jersey on. I'm not putting the jersey on, but it's safe now. It's safe now. We won. We got the points. Let me just pull up this beautiful looking Premier League table, because it makes for happy reading right now. So let me just look at it. Let me just see it. So, as it stands, Manchester United remain in third with 64 points. 64. Liverpool, 58 points. So we are now 6 points ahead of fourth place. We're in. We got it. We did it, guys. We did it. I'm so proud. I'm so relieved. That was a rough watch. It was like such a roller coaster. Let me say hello to you guys, and then we will get stuck into talking about the match. But I'm very pleased. Very, very, very pleased. Shout out to Paige, who has just joined us, Michelle, who has just joined us, Rob, who was here before, Guess is in the house. Yes, Michelle, big win for us today. Thank you very much. Huge is in the house. I did think we were going to throw that record away 100%. Damien is in the chat. Lucky and JT and Mama Flossie have been in the chat on and off throughout the entire match. And you know what? It's great, because when I have a moment in the match where I'm like, I was coming to the chat to see what people were saying. So yes, thank you guys for being there. Everybody was getting proper stuck into that. So shout out to all of you guys. Yeah, Bruno complaining is like its own, honestly. I'm not even getting into it today. Not even getting into it today, because Dibs is here, and yes, I am in a good mood. I am so pleased. And Lucky is saying, we're in the Champions League, but we need to start scoring more goals. The game should have been over. Lucky had some really good points. Lucky, I saw another message from Lucky there, and I completely agreed with like every word of it. Where was it? He was saying, yes. So Lucky has said here, we need to score more goals when the opposition hands us the opportunities. Instead, we let it go to an end-to-end game. Correct and right, Lucky. You are absolutely 100% correct. Some really, really good points. But Shem is here as well. Hello to Shem. Thank you very much. Shem says, hello, lovely boss lady Lou and all the teacuppers. Good result for United. Let's hope we can ruin Emery's party too. I think you can. I really think you can. Cool Ian says, I'm horrible at picking this season's Premier League, but can't believe I called 3-2 United. Well done, Cool Ian, if you shouted that out. That's a bloody brilliant prediction. I did, if any of you remember, predict very confidently that Man United were going to win this match. I predicted 2-0. So there were a few more. There was a few more goals than I predicted. But shout out to Cool Ian, who predicted 3-2. So well done, you. The most important thing is we have got the points. The most important thing is we got the points. And I keep saying that all season for every team. I keep saying that. Get the points. If you can make it pretty and entertaining on top of it, that's extra. That's a bonus. That's a cherry. That's the icing. However, the cake is the 3 points. We got the 3 points. I'm absolutely delighted. However, we are going to discuss some of the things that happened throughout the match. I'm sure there's some that will attract a little more attention than others. United Mandem is in the house saying, big up Blue in chat. Liverpool were lucky we handed them 2 goals today. Otherwise, we'd have really put them on a t-shirt. JT says, after I saw the lineup, I knew the prediction wasn't going to work out, because JT did predict 3-3. You weren't too far. Rob nearly expired entirely. We nearly lost Rob. His heart nearly gave out during that match, which I understand. So let us talk about the match, because there was obviously a number of things that happened before the match. We were quite aware that Liverpool were going to be missing some players. They were starting the match without a striker. They had that wee chap, Is it Woodman? Woodman. I keep in my head calling him Woodburn, but I think he's called Woodman. I have to stop calling this poor man by the wrong name. Let me get it right, because otherwise I'm going to spend the whole stream calling him literally the wrong name. Woodman, it is. Woodman. What is wrong with Hussam? Crying about the Bruno challenge not being a red. Oh, give over, you big baby. I like Hassan very much, but sometimes I can't watch him talk about my team because he just irritates me. So Neil is in the house. Shout out to Neil. Yes, it is Woodman. I had to double check. I don't know why I keep calling him Woodburn. But anyway, so we knew it was going to be Woodman starting in the goal. We obviously knew they were starting with a striker, and we more or less had our main team. Basically, that was the best team we probably could have fielded. So you would have thought before the match, just looking at the lineups, you would have expected United to win, even if you didn't beforehand, like me. And we did start very well. We started fast, we were crossing, we were attacking, we were down the wings, we were threatening. 5 minutes in, Cunha put us ahead. And the thing is, literally just before he scored the goal, he had missed a really good chance. And you're thinking, oh, God's sake. And he didn't get it in the back of the net. And then about 3 seconds later, he does get it in the back of the net, kind of through a load of bodies. It takes a little deflection off the bum of McAllister. But look, really good goal. But we had a lot of success the entire first half down the right wing, getting at Robertson. McAllister was a very angry man for a lot of the first half. His little head, because he had his hair cut short today, his little head was just red with anger for most of the first half. He was having to come across and help a lot. We had an awful lot of success down that side, and they just weren't coping. I thought Konate was struggling in a major way with Sesko. Sesko kept getting, I would say, the right side. Konate would probably say the wrong side as the game was going on. Sesko missed a huge amount of chances. He was getting himself into some really brilliant positions, and then he was missing. He was very good and very bad at the same time. And the thing is, that is because he's a developmental player. That is because he's just learning. That is because he is not the finished article. He is going to make mistakes. It frustrates me as much as everyone else when I see him getting these brilliant chances that he's getting for himself, because he's getting himself into those positions, and then not being clinical. And it's very hard, because I understand that's what happens. Even the best strikers miss chances sometimes. Even the best strikers don't get it 100% of the time. When it's a developmental striker who's only learning, they're going to miss chances. That's just a fact of life. He's going to miss things. It doesn't make it any less frustrating when you actually see it happening. However, he did get a goal. So the cross comes in from Bruno. Sesko misses it in the first place. Cunha's out over there on the left, keeps it alive, puts it back in to Bruno, who heads it back into Sesko. It goes in primarily off Sesko's tummy, okay? I have, however, seen the magnified replay, and I have to be very honest. I have to be really honest here. I'm always going to be honest, right? I'm very glad the goal stood. Obviously, I'm over the moon the goal stood. However, when you look, and maybe if I see it again another few times, I might change my mind, but from the replays I've seen, the magnified replays that you really only see against Man United, it does appear that after it comes off his tummy, that it does brush off his fingers before it goes into the back of the net. Based on that, the goal probably should have been disallowed, because if it goes in off the hand, there is no other criteria. If it touches the hand last, the goal should be ruled out. And if it was at the other end, and I saw that brush off the fingertips, I'm screaming for the goal to be disallowed. So while I'm very delighted it stood, while I'm very delighted Sesko got the goal, while I think it primarily went in off his tummy, I'm going to be very honest. If that was at the other end, I'm probably screaming for it to be ruled off. So I'm not going to criticize any Liverpool fan who is saying that, because if that goes against you, you're raging. So I'm delighted it stood. I'm very pleased for Sesko. He needs it. He needs to keep getting these goals. And he is. He's getting as many opportunities as he's missing. He is getting goals. He is finding his feet. I think they said on the commentary that's 9 goals now that he's had under Michael Carrick, which is obviously very good. And that's where I'm trying my best not to get frustrated with him. He's getting in the right positions. When he's able to get the right side of Konate, when he's getting the opportunities, he's getting them for himself. He's getting himself into those positions. He was bright, he was attacking, he was getting forward, he was fast. I really, really, really like Sesko, and I think he's going to be really, really good. And I think he's taken more of these chances. So when we first got him, the chances that he's taken now, he was missing. So in the last 6 months even, I feel that he is already taking more of the chances that he's creating. So if he keeps creating them and he continues to take more and more of them, I think by next season, this time next season, I think he's going to be even better. So I'm as frustrating as it is sometimes to watch, I see him. I physically see him progressing. I see now he's doing better than he was doing 3 months ago, was doing better than he was doing 6 months ago. He's taking more chances than he was taking before, and he's creating, he's getting himself into these very good positions. So while some of it was frustrating, I was overall very happy with Sesko. Obviously, 15 minutes in, we're 2-0 up, which is fantastic. I'm over the moon, and you're thinking, this is great. This could be 3 or 4. This could be unbelievable. We might be about to lose our goddamn minds. Genuinely, if we had beaten Liverpool 3 or 4-0, which it looked like we were capable of doing in the first half, I really think I might have just decided, let's keep going. I think I might have lost my mind with it. And to be fair, I do agree with Damien. Given all of the BS refereeing we've had this season, given all of the dodgy calls that have been given against us, it was about time that one went for us. It was about time we had one go our way. So I'm certainly not complaining about it, but I am going to be honest, because we are a mixed channel on here, and I do want to try my best to be fair. I'm delighted and I'll take it. And I think, you know what? It was probably about time one went our way, but I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, at 15 minutes in, we're 2-0 up. Konate is struggling with Sesko. We're basically going down the right wing at will. Robertson absolutely could not cope with Mbeumo whatsoever. And McAllister was losing his mind because he was spending more time over trying to help out Robertson than he was actually in the midfield, which was obviously pulling him out of position, which was leaving Gravenberch on his own. It was just, we were pulling them all. It was very good. Very, 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 very good. I thought Manu was very good today. I thought Manu was brilliant today, actually. That's the last 2 matches I've thought Manu has been very good. If Manu continues how he has been for the last 2 matches, for the rest of the season and into next season, I will look at revising my opinion on Manu, because as you all know, I'm not completely convinced. I think he's decent. I would keep him as a squad player. For me, he's not a star. However, the last 2 matches, Kobbie Mainoo has been absolutely fantastic. Really, really, really good. Winning the ball back, driving forward, turning the ball over. Really, really very good. And I want to acknowledge that, because sometimes people, when they've taken a stance on a player, they don't like to say anything that makes their opinion look wrong. I couldn't care less. I absolutely couldn't care less. It's just an opinion. It's not a factual statement. It's an opinion. It can change with new information. If 2 matches isn't enough, 2 matches is very good, but if he continues to do this, I'm going to be mighty impressed and I'm going to be mighty pleased. So keep it going, Kobbie. Keep it going. I am happy to be proven wrong. You keep going. JT is saying on the fingertips of Sesko. It's a close one. It's not conclusive at first glance, but probably should have been disallowed. But the challenge that led to it could have been a red as well. That's true. And you know what? I've noticed over the last two and a bit weeks, and I've said this on another stream that was nothing to do with United, so you'll know I've said it before. It feels like VAR have been told, unless it's clear and obvious, stop re-refereeing the game, because there's been several instances over this weekend, over the last game week, because the game weeks haven't been quite linear, but over the last few weeks, where what the commentary teams have been saying is, VAR don't necessarily agree with the decision, but they don't think it's a clear and obvious enough error to overturn it. And I think that's what it came down to with the not only this decision with Sesko, but with a few decisions over the weekend, with the decision actually earlier on in the Bournemouth game. I was watching that before United kicked off. And I think what they seem to be saying is, we don't think that's quite right, but it's not clearly and obviously wrong, therefore we're not intervening. And that seems to be across the board in all matches. And I think that's what it comes down to. It's not conclusive, therefore it's not clear and obvious, therefore they didn't get involved. So I think that's probably where it's coming from. And I've seen that in a number of matches. But yeah, I've no idea. Liverpool in the first half were an absolute mess, but also in the first half we were very, very, very good. So it's a little bit of both. JT is also saying, I think your take on Manu is correct. People overrate him, but he is still young and he can turn out to be great if he continues the development trajectory. I agree with that. 100% agree with that. Rob Always United. Rob always reminding everybody to please like and subscribe, people. Please do that. Obviously, it's just wonderful. It's just absolutely wonderful to get the win. It was a hard fought match. We did so good. We really, really did well. It was lovely. And as Lucky says there, it's lovely to see Dorgu getting some minutes on the pitch. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Kobbie Mainoo was very, very good. Lucky says along with Bruno and Patrick Dorgu, and Amad Diallo. I disagree slightly in terms of Amad Diallo. I was incredibly frustrated with that. So let's go through the match until that point. But yeah, I thought we were very good. Oh, and actually, just a shout out to Harry Maguire, because right at the death of the first half, I can't remember which Liverpool player it was, but someone was coming in and they kicked the ball. Harry Maguire, his head was about that much from the ball, and he sticks his head in front of the ball and in front of the player's kick. He took it really hard. It hit him hard and fast. So fair play, Harry Maguire, because not all players would do that. Not all players would put their body on the line. Not all players would get their head in the way. Some players would stand off and let that through, and you don't know, it ricochets the wrong way and it's a goal. So absolute shout out to Harry Maguire, because I thought that was really brave defending, and you don't get a lot of modern players doing that. And I think it's one of those things, again, it's mentality. His instinct was get in the way. That was his instinct. Shout out to Mohammed and Jenny. Do you know what? Massive shout out to Mohammed and Jenny for joining us on this stream. Jenny says a begrudging congratulations to the United fan. But you know what? Shout out to you two coming in here. Knowing obviously I'm going to be over the bloody moon. So shout out to you guys for being here. But yes, like Palace Red Devil there is saying Harry did some Vidic defending. That's exactly who I thought of when I saw it. That is exactly who I thought of when I saw it. And I love Vidic. I love Vidic. I think he's brilliant. And yeah, Lucky saying Harry Maguire was brilliant. Damien saying Maguire putting his body on the line. 100%. It was brave. It was good. And sometimes a little goal before half time, he doesn't get his head in the way. There's a ricochet and it goes, 2-1 before half time. Those things matter. The timing matters. The moments matter. So I thought it was really good defending. Well done him. I thought Luke Shaw had some really good moments today, to be fair. Frimpong had a funny one. Just before the Harry Maguire stuck his head in the way, Frimpong had a funny one where he stood on Luke Shaw and then threw himself on the ground like it should have been a penalty. And then you look at the replay and he stands on Luke Shaw's foot but then goes down like he's been shot. I thought that was a strange thing to do. And that felt a little bit like simulation. But anyway, just to mention that, Bonkers is in the house saying both teams were shocking today, but United were the better of the two teams. I don't think that's true. Bonkers. I'm sorry, I completely disagree with you. I don't think United were shocking today, if I'm honest with you. I thought we were, and I'm about to discuss the second half. I don't think we were shocking today. I think yous were shocking today, if I'm honest. I don't think we were. I think we could have been better. I thought we were very bad in the second half. In the first half, I thought we were very, very good, actually. Maybe I'm buoyed up by the win. And to be fair, in general, I'm not a particularly positive person. I'm normally quite a negative person. When it comes to football, though, I feel very optimistic all the time. I have to laugh. Guess that's in the chat with us is a good friend of mine. And Guess is such a happy, positive, really, good vibes person. And then, like, when it comes to football, she's quite worried about United, which is fair. But I'm the other way. I'm normally the realist. I'm like, this is the way life is, blah, blah, blah. And then it comes to football and I'm like, yeah, obviously this is all fantastical. I love it. So I find it very funny how sometimes football could change a person. But it's good fun. It's good fun. Right. Okay. No, that's fair. Yeah, the 2 goals were shocking. The 2 goals were shocking. The 2 goals were definitely shocking. We are gonna speak about that. Yeah, Jenny, in the first half, I genuinely Robertson, that was a bad idea. He wasn't coping with Mbumo. Kanate wasn't really coping with Sesko. McAllister wasn't coping with himself. It just wasn't happening in the first half. It really wasn't. But look, we went in 2-0 up at the end of the first half. We come out for the second half. Sesko has been substituted for Ahmad. And I think that was the start of the turnaround, because while Sesko was not as clinical as some of us might have liked in the first half, he was dangerous. He was definitely keeping Konate on his toes. He was engaging the defenders. He was taking up their time. He was getting into dangerous positions. He was doing really good. He was doing really, really, really good. Number one, the fact that he was subbed off at halftime, it seems to be injured. It's put down as an injury sub. And I believe he wasn't moving completely freely at the end of the second half. I think it was to do with his groin area, but I'm not 100%, and I don't want to spread rumours. Hopefully we'll know more about that later, and hopefully it's a precaution rather than anything serious. He didn't seem to be moving completely freely by the end of the first half. That makes me worry, because guys, guess what happened? We ended up having to take Mbumo off the right, putting him down the centre, and put Ahmad out on the right. So not only did we lose Sesko, we lost Mbumo, because Mbumo is so much better on the right wing than he is down the middle. It was a terrible idea. Ahmad was not good. Ahmad was not good. And you know what? I've actually been quite a supporter of Ahmad. I've had a lot of patience with him. I've said consistently throughout the season, I think he's a good player. He's just having a bad season. I think that might prove to be true. I'm hoping next season he's going to be back to his best. However, this season, Ahmad has not been good. This match, Ahmad was not good. And the difference, the drop-off was insane. It was Ahmad's mistake that led to Liverpool getting their first goal back in the match. Really bad. But we also lost Mbumo, because in the first half, we were down the right side, down the right side, down the right side. They couldn't cope with us. And then because we had to move Mbumo in and Ahmad wasn't good, that avenue completely stopped for us. So they had to stop worrying about that right-hand side, which meant they were able to get players forward. Konate didn't have to focus so much with Mbumo the way he was having to cope with Sesko, which meant they were able to move forward. But they were able to platform more attacks because Robertson and Konate weren't worrying the way they were in the first half, which meant McAllister wasn't having to help Robertson so much the way he was in the first half. Their whole shape was better and their plan worked better, because after we took off Sesko through injury, not on purpose, and moved Mbumo, we actually took away some of our own attacking impetus. We took away some of our own danger, which gave then the opportunity to start going forward, which they did well. And once it started, the floodgates were open. So for me, I think moving Mbumo into the middle was a mistake. I don't think that's what we should have done. I don't think we should have taken Ahmad on and moved Mbumo. I think that was the wrong decision from Michael Carrick. What I would have done was left Mbumo exactly where he was, causing problems down the right-hand side, because they ended up making that sub anyway. Robertson went off for Kirkes. But the problem had already stopped down that wing for them. Whereas if you had not, so instead of, when Sesko went off, I would have just put Mount on. I would have just literally, don't lose 2 players because one player gets injured. Sesko got injured and we lost Sesko and Mbumo, because Mbumo was moved to a position where he's not as effective. So for me, keep Mbumo out there where he's causing problems. Just put Mount on for Sesko. Don't bring Ahmad on. Just bring Mount on for Sesko. That's exactly what I would have done. Mason Mount surely can cope with 45 minutes. That's what I would have done. Or do you know what? If you want to be really bloody wild, put Lenny Yoro in there with Aidan Heaven, put Maguire up front. Don't lose Mbumo. Don't lose the threat. I'm being tongue-in-cheek with the Maguire thing just before people lose their minds, but I would have just put Mount on for Sesko and left Mbumo where he was. As soon as Ahmad was put on and Mbumo was moved in, we just lost so much of our effectiveness. We lost so much of what was working for us in the first half with one swap. But guys, has anybody told you recently that one striker isn't enough for Manchester United? Has anybody told you recently Manchester United absolutely must get another striker because if anything happens to Sesko, we're in trouble? Maybe that person was right. Maybe I'm not insane and Manchester United need more than one striker, because if we lose Sesko through injury or suspension or for any other reason, we shouldn't have to move Bryan Mbeumo into the middle. We shouldn't have to put Mason Mount on. We should have another striker to go in there. So I've been talking about this for weeks. Today's match showed us exactly why we need to do it. But anyway, we didn't. We put on Ahmad and we moved Mbeumo. Ahmad makes a mistake, and at 46 minutes, Szoboszlai scores a goal. It's more or less a solo goal. He makes the goal himself, scores the goal himself. He slots it through the legs of Dalot. I thought Dalot and I think it was Maguire that was there. I think both of them needed to do better, but the ball was lost by Ahmad. Straight away, the ball was lost by Ahmad. And it's 2-1. And you can feel it then. You can feel it. You can feel it in the atmosphere. You can feel it in the air. You can see it in the players. You can see Liverpool are looking more lively. You can see United are looking a little bit shell-shocked. You could see the Menu and Casemiro. Menu, they were so good in the first half. And then in the second half, the first 20 minutes, they just lost the run themselves. They were here, there and everywhere. The midfield basically didn't exist. But as I said, a lot of the first half, McAllister was pulled out to help Robertson. So when he didn't have to do that in the second half, there he was in the midfield, and there Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro were going, oh, this extra player, where'd he come from? He's been here all match, but he was a little bit busy and now he's not. So what I've written down at that point after the 2-1 was, don't fucking bottle this. That's what I wrote down on my notepad. And then literally about a minute later, Heaven takes our goal kick instead of our goalkeeper. Lomans then passes it to McAllister and they score. So yes, I can't remember who said it earlier. Was it Bonkers? It might have been Bonkers that said it earlier. We gifted them 2 goals because Ahmad just gave the ball away. And then we didn't defend well enough after it. And then Lomans, who has been fantastic this season, who has been absolutely fantastic this season, makes just such a mistake and just kicks it to Liverpool. And it's the first mistake I've seen of Lomans do like that. And look, everybody's going to make mistakes. It's a long season. It's a lot of minutes. It's a lot of matches. Everybody makes mistakes sometimes, but it was a pretty bad mistake. It's a pretty bad mistake to let Liverpool go 2-2. Of all the times you're going to make a mistake, that's probably not the time. Time and place, that was not it. Which brought us to 2-2. Which was terribly exciting, I'm sure, for all the neutrals. It wasn't for me. My heart was breaking. Let me see. Palace is in the house. Moonshine is in the house. People are joining us. Luke is here. I hope I haven't missed everyone. If I've missed anyone, hello. I didn't mean to. I just need to get all this off my chest. I'm very pleased, by the way, guys. I am very pleased, but my heart was in my mouth for a lot of that second half, and I need to blow off some steam. I'm very pleased we won, but we did have a little bit of luck on our side as well. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you earn that. And our first half, we could have been 3 or 4 goals up and we weren't. So do you know what? Sometimes you need a little bit of luck, and we've had enough bad luck this season. So I'm very, very, very pleased. But we didn't do it the easy way. We absolutely did not do it the easy way. Palace here is saying Dalot once again showed why he does not deserve to be a Man United player. I'll be honest, right? I'm not a fan of Dalot. I'd have sold Dalot about 2 years ago, probably 3 years ago at this point. I'm not a Dalot fan. I don't think he's good enough. Today I thought he was all right, though. I don't think he was particularly good. I don't think he was particularly bad. I thought he was fine. Today. He was part of a lot of the attacking build-up in the first half. I thought he was reasonable today. And again, sometimes I am quite positive once we've got the win and I don't see some of the bad things. But I thought he was okay. Not sensational, but I thought he was fine. And I love a good opportunity to give out about Dalot because I'm not a fan of him. JT, what strikers are you linked with? None at the moment. None. Which is why you haven't noticed any, because we're not being linked to any, despite the fact that we absolutely need another striker. And as I said, I like Sesko. I think he's going to be very good. I think he's already showing massive signs of improvement. But we need another one. We need to have more than one. And we're not linked with anyone. Correct and right. Uh, duh, 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 duh. Yeah, and JT, I agree. If the frequency of the mistakes doesn't increase, it doesn't mean that much. And that's it. That's why I'm not really reading into it. It's just a mistake. He's a human being. It's just a mistake. He has been absolutely incredible all season. Incredible. Even David De Gea made mistakes. Schmeichel made mistakes. Everybody makes. Donnarumma recently, best goalkeeper in the world, made a pretty bad mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. So I'm not stressed about it. Not stressed about it at all. It was just really bad timing. If you're going to make a mistake, that is not the time or the place. But Rob is having trouble suppressing his glee. Don't suppress your glee, Rob. Why would you suppress your glee? That was a great match. Great 3 points. I've been saying it since last week. We're in the Champions League. I'm over the moon. We've beat Liverpool, which is brilliant. It's always brilliant because no harm today. See if we'd drawn that match, if we hadn't gone ahead with Menu taking a fantastic goal and making it 3-2, getting us back in the lead, all you would have heard, and I would have been agreeing with it too, by the way, all you would have heard was Liverpool that didn't have a striker, that didn't have Salah on the pitch, and that was playing Woodman, who was their third choice keeper, and United couldn't even get a win out of it. That's all you would have heard. And to be honest, as I said, I would have agreed with it. So don't suppress your glee. Express your glee. Express your glee because, no, Mohammed and Jenny are very good. Mohammed and Jenny are very good. And Aaron, don't forget, Aaron's a Liverpool fan as well. See, they're so nice you would forget they're Liverpool fans. But no, the guys don't mind. The guys won't mind. They're lovely people. Lovely, lovely people. But yeah, look, let's get to the third goal because eventually Robertson is subbed off for Kirkes, which probably they could have done a half time, but given that we just decided we weren't going down the right anymore, just no problem. No problem, Jenny and Mohammed. No, genuinely, is are lovely, really and truly. We have the nicest Liverpool fans that come into our chat. We have the nicest of all the fan bases in here because we don't tolerate bad teacups in this house. No bad teacups allowed. But yeah, so look, I actually thought what made a big difference, because I thought when Mbeumo was the false striker and Ahmad was out on the right, I did not see us scoring another goal. I didn't see it. We didn't look dangerous. We didn't look attacking. We looked like a gummy bear. Not only Toothless doesn't cover it. We looked like a gummy bear, or like, do you know those the grannies with the no teeth that's just all gums? That's what it felt like. And then Mbeumo was taken off for Dorgu. And then Dorgu's out on the left, Cunha moves into central, and you have Ahmad out on the right. The difference, straight away, we started to look more dangerous again. The difference was visible immediately. Thank God Dorgu's back. Thank God Michael Carrick is continuing to play Dorgu on the left wing. He's a left winger. And we saw it again today. Welcome back, Patrick Dorgu. Absolutely fantastic to see him on the pitch. The difference when he came on, we immediately started to look more dangerous again. Very much delighted about the whole scenario. But Menu then goes on to make it 3-2. It was a brilliant goal for him to keep that down, because he's running onto it, the ball's in the air, the way he hit it, the way to keep it down and get it on target. It was a brilliant goal. The way he had to run onto it and keep it down. Most players, elite or not, sky those, because if it hits just slightly the wrong part of your body, because you're moving and the ball's moving, it goes away off. So it was a brilliantly well taken down goal. I had thought Manu had been a lot quieter in the second half. I thought the first half he was fantastic. I thought the second half overall was quieter than the first half for Manu, but the way he struck that goal was just brilliant. Really brilliant. The Bruno tackle, let's talk about it, because I can't remember, was it Damien told me earlier that Hassan was talking about the tackle from Bruno on Szoboszlai. It's not a red card. It's very much a yellow card. It's a very clear yellow card. What it looked like, Bruno does slide in, but he kind of slides in front of Szoboszlai. And I agree with what the commentator said. It looked like he thought Szoboszlai was going to kick it and then he would get the block in. He's not going in 2 foot out of control on Szoboszlai, which would have made it a red card. It's not a red card. I thought it was a very well-earned yellow card. It's not even close to a red card for me. And guys, I'm very fair. If I thought it was a red card, I would just say it. Because if the goal against Sesko had been ruled off for touching his fingertips, I'd have been devastated, but I probably wouldn't have complained because I would have understood. So I'll always be honest. Even if it goes for me, I'll take it, but I'll always be honest about it. I don't think it was a red card. I don't think it was close to a red card. I thought a yellow card was fair for it. But yeah, the thing is, the attack that led to that tackle was, again, the ball had been won back by Manu, really deep in our own half, and it set off an attack, and then Szoboszlai gets it back, and then Bruno tackles him. But Cobby, after, I think he had a quiet start to the second half, as did Casemiro, but I think once Dorgu came on and we became more attacking again, Cobby Manu sort of came back to life. But and then he finished the match really, really well. Then, and this again, just coming to my point about Xerxes, because I keep telling people Xerxes is not a striker, he's not a striker. So, when we wanted to become more defensive, what did we do? Michael Carrick subbed off Matheus Cunha for Xerxes. Do you know why? Because that's a defensive sub. Because he wants Xerxes to hold up the ball, because Xerxes is physical, because he'll keep the ball, not because he's going to try and score, because he's going to keep the ball and he's a physical player and he's going to stop Liverpool getting the ball back. That's why he brought on Xerxes. Not because he is a striker, but because he's physically going to keep the players away from the ball. Then we make another defensive sub. We take off Bruno and we put on Yoro. Probably part of that was because Bruno was losing his cool a little bit. But again, another defensive sub. We need another striker. Xerxes is not a striker. Mbeumo should not be played down the middle. Thank you very much. That is my TED Talk. I've been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. You all heard it here first. Today they decided to play out the scenario to prove me right. So I am so pleased. The Man United won this match. I think we performed fantastically in the first half. I think the second half exposed a poor decision from Carrick in terms of the substitute, because there was alternatives available. It also exposed some of the needs we have in the transfer window, which I have been talking about for several weeks on this channel and other channels. But with another sub, a better sub, and another tweak, Carrick pulled the game back. And I thought we finished the game well. I thought overall it was a good performance. It had some poor moments. It had a poor spell. Overall, though, it was a very good performance. It's never going to be an easy game against Liverpool. Forget the keeper and the injuries and everything else. Manchester United versus Liverpool, it is never going to be an easy game. Never is it going to be an easy game. We fought hard. We fought to get back into it. We didn't put the bloody heads down. When the chips fell, we fought our way back into the match. We earned the win. And that's nice. That's a nice feeling. We earned the win. We deserved the win. We didn't get it by a bad call or a lucky this or anything that. We deserved it. We worked at it. We kept our heads in the game. We worked the opportunities and we got the goal back. I thought we were good for it. I think Liverpool had a reasonable spell the first 15 to 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, of the second half. And I was worried. But the minute the second change was made and Dorgu was brought on, it changed it again. And it just goes to show you, you must play the players in the position where you can get the best out of them. Because just moving a really good player to the wrong position can do so much damage. But I'm so pleased. We got the 3 points. We're in the Champions League. We beat Liverpool twice this season. I'm very pleased. I'm very, very, very pleased. And yes, just to mention, right at the end, Sir Alex Ferguson was taken to hospital. So Sir Alex Ferguson was at Old Trafford to attend the match today. He was then taken to hospital in an ambulance. My understanding, based on all of the reports, because it was actually reported before the match, they spoke about it at the half time, but it was reported before the match that he was at the hospital already and he was being seen to. As everything that's being reported is, he's basically taken a bit of a turn. I can't find anything in more detail, but it doesn't seem to be, as it stands, nothing is reporting it as being sort of life-threatening, or he seems to have taken a bit of a turn. And look, to be honest, at the age he's at, His health hasn't always been the best. You're probably you're probably, it's going to happen, but I don't think we should worry too much. I think he's going to be fine. I'm just looking, the reason I'm distracted, I'm looking to see has anything come out since I've been live. Let me just look, because I haven't, before I went live, I checked it, and it was just that he had a bit of a turn and he was taken to the hospital. He was being looked after, but nothing worth worrying about, basically. And I just think at his age, it's he hasn't had the best health, and a wee turn wasn't. After feeling unwell, there you go. So he was feeling a little unwell. So I know they're not going to want to be dramatic, but it's being put down as like a scare. He was a bit unwell. There's nothing. Do you know what I mean? Flossie there. They said on the radio it wasn't an emergency. Emergency. Thank you. For the love of God, I couldn't think of the word emergency for the life of me. That is the word I have been searching my brain for. So yes, it was not an emergency. It was not an emergency. It was more precautionary. But yes, best wishes to Sir Alex Ferguson that he makes a speedy recovery. And I would very much imagine, because we know, I've read all the autobiographies, I've seen all of the interviews, the whole lot. We know this here will have done him the world of good. Somebody will have definitely given him this result. He'll have definitely had the live score. The nurses will have been on call, giving him the score. So hopefully that'll give him a little in his step to get him home and get him looked after. He just has to remember he's not a spring chicken anymore, that's all. But yes, best wishes always to Sir Alex Ferguson. And yeah, hopefully he's feeling much, much better soon. And he'll be home and he'll be celebrating. He'll be doing a little dance in his living room by later on this evening, celebrating the win over Liverpool. The first time, as I understand, I think they said the first time in 10 years that we've done the double over Liverpool in a single season. I definitely would not have predicted. If you were going to say, predict the season that United will win the double over Liverpool, you're never going to predict it's the season after they have won the Premier League. If you were guessing, you weren't going to guess this season. So yeah, well done us. Pat on the back. Overall, very good. Kobbie Mainoo was very, very, very good again today. Mbeumo was so much better down the right-hand side. Hopefully it was a precaution for Sesko. We absolutely have got to get a second striker in the summer. Brilliant to see Dorgu back on the pitch, getting some minutes in his legs and looking good. He started back how he finished. I was worried because he had just hit a run of form, just before he went out injured, he had just really started to hit a run of form. I was a little bit worried that it might knock him off and he kind of have to go back a few steps to start over again, but he seems to have hit the ground running. So well done, Patrick Dorgu. Slight mistake from Sene Lammens, but having had the season he's had, I think we can forgive him a mistake. I thought Maguire, brave defending, getting his head in the way. I thought Heaven was fine. I don't think he was very good or very bad. I thought he was fine. Luke Shaw had some really good moments, and then he had some questionable moments. Also, Luke Shaw was a doubt to start this match. He went off the last match looking injured. He was a doubt when they were talking to Michael Carrick in the press conference. He got himself fit and ready for this. And I told you guys, he is going for a personal record. If he starts every match this season, I said it was the first time in 11 years. It's not. It's first time in 12 years. So I think it shows Luke Shaw can get himself fit when he needs to. He can get himself fit when he needs to. He's going for that personal record. I pretty much said I thought he would be back on the prediction show. I gave my reason, and he was back. Mohammed is saying, to be honest, even when Liverpool were poor and when United won leagues, still did the double as well over you. So it goes to show, regardless of what happens in a season, these things happen. And that's it. Do you see when it's this kind of a derby day? See when it's like two big rivals, when it's Liverpool, Man United, the form and everything else is off the table. The injuries, it doesn't matter. See when it's Man United, Liverpool, Liverpool, Man United, it doesn't matter. None of the facts matter. It's all vibes. So completely agree, Mohammed, 100%. Damien is asking, Heaven to continue with Maguire or Martinez back in after his suspension? I would keep Heaven in with Maguire. Martinez has been unreliable. He has been unreliable. He was off celebrating the World Cup, and I don't begrudge him celebrating, but he celebrated far longer than he needed to when our manager was in the middle of being sacked at the time. He has then been absent an unbelievable amount of time between injuries and suspensions. And while I like his personality and I think he has some good attributes, I would sell him. So I would be keeping Heaven and Maguire. I think they're a very good combination. Not because of a lack of talent on Martinez's part, but because I have other problems. And I think we just have to be cutthroat when it comes to these things. If we start to see the red flags, we just have to be cutthroat. So I would stick with Heaven and Maguire. And Damien agrees. Same here. Heaven and Maguire to see out the season. That's what I would like to do. Lucky is saying Luke Shaw did himself proud. 7.4 would be Lucky's rating. Maguire 7.7. 8 for Cobby Mainu, and Brian and Bumo 7.1. Those are some good ratings, Lucky. Those are some good ratings. And Lucky is saying Maguire, Heaven, and Mazraoui not for sale. Not for sale. And we all know Lucky is our transfer guru. So if Lucky says not for sale, they ain't for sale, people. That's the way. That's the way of it. Lucky has spoken. But guys, I am going off because I'm actually having... And sorry, I would like to apologise, by the way. We were supposed to have a 12 o'clock show today. I told you yesterday we were going to have a 12 o'clock show today. I had a topic ready to go to talk about for the 12 o'clock show today because there was no match on. However, I slept in. I didn't wake up when my alarm went off. And I didn't get out of my bed until 1 p.m. today. I was very lazy today. And therefore, we did not have a 12 p.m. show, but it was accidental. So I do apologise for that. My intention was to have one. But, and this is where I'm going, JT. I'm being very lazy today because the intention was to have a 12 o'clock show and then to have this live show. So I will not be live after the Spurs game. I'll speak about the Spurs game tomorrow. I will do a reaction to it, but I'm actually going to be at a barbecue with my neighbours. As soon as I end this, I'm going to a barbecue at my neighbour's house. And I had purposely timed it that I would have a 12 o'clock show and that I would have a live now after Man United. And then I would go to the barbecue and everybody would still get their 2 shows today. However, I had other ideas apparently when I was asleep, turned off the alarm, went back to bed, didn't have a 12 o'clock show. But tomorrow, I will be speaking about the Spurs game tomorrow. I will do a live reaction to the Spurs game, but it will be tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Obviously, our very own Shem. There's so much riding on it tonight for Shem. So I will definitely, I'm not going to just ignore the match. I'll be watching the match at the barbecue. So I'm not going to miss anything. I just won't be fit to go live. So I will be live tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I promise. And we're going to speak about Spurs. So not today, but definitely tomorrow. And I do apologise, guys. You're only getting one show today. I'm off to celebrate. I'm off to have a great old time. And do you know what? I'm going to be cheering on Spurs. I am going to be cheering on Spurs because down with Villa. Down with anyone who's in our top 5. Down with Villa. Up with Spurs. Go on, Shem. I don't know. Shem's probably biting his nails somewhere, but we're all cheering on Shem. So yes, my body decided I needed to rest. And that was enough of that. Oh, Shem is here. He's here. Shem, we're all rooting for you. I'm going to be out there at the barbecue, celebrating Man United's win, cheering on Spurs. You can beat Villa. You can beat Villa. And yes, final thought, because I've spent most of this match reaction speaking about United. So final thought, Rio was very good. Rio has been very good every single time he's been on the pitch for Liverpool, 100%. And I think we might have been in a bit more trouble had Slot started him. So that's for the Liverpool folks. I wanted to say something about Liverpool. But yes, everybody, take care of yourselves, mind yourself, have a lovely evening. For those that have won this weekend, enjoy, go and celebrate. Good luck to Shem. And I promise there will definitely be a 12 o'clock show tomorrow. So yeah, I will speak to you all then, guys. Thank you so much for being here. You are all wonderful, wonderful teacups.